Hi, this is Elvira from Scrappy Mania, and today I got a technique of how to apply gesso and what to use and the different looks you get depending on the tool you use to apply the gesso. One of the things I like to do is I like to get old book papers and create embellishments with them. I love to create delicate flowers with this book paper because they look nice and delicate and nice and thin. I also like to use it for my art journals because I can create a doll or I can create a drawing on here, paint it, cut it out, and then when I put it on my art journal, it's not bulky, it's nice and thin, and it kind of like almost melts into the paper when I go over it with gel medium. So that's why I like this nice thin paper. But it could be a little tricky because this paper is very delicate. So one of the things I like to do, I either could use white gesso or clear gesso. And this one, I'm going to show you how to use white gesso, but you can do the same thing with clear. Now with clear, you can really see the background come through. So the first technique is to use just a brush. And it's a good idea to have a dedicated brush for applying gesso. I do not like to use my acrylic brushes or my water. Definitely don't want to use your watercolor brushes. Gesso is pretty harsh on your brushes, so you really don't want to do that. So I have a dedicated brush that I use for gesso, and you can go to IKEA and get these. These are $1 something, and these are very nice for applying gesso and things that you can throw away or that you want to throw away the brush after use. Okay. So here I'm done with the application of this, and as you can see, you really cannot see the background coming through. So it really hides everything. And that technique is perfect if you don't really want the lettering to come through, or if you're prepping a page that you may have done a drawing and you don't really want that drawing, you don't like the drawing, you can use the gesso with a brush and puts it thicker than if you use any other tool, and then you won't see the image bleeding through. So that's a good way to do it. Then the next method is to use a palette knife, and you apply a thin layer like it was frosting, and then I scrape the excess off. See here, so I put a layer down and then I just scrape the excess off. This is the method I use when I'm prepping my art journal. I like to use a palette knife. So if you have seen some of my scrapping therapy episodes, you may have seen me prepping my page before I draw on it with a palette knife. The reason why I like a palette knife, it doesn't get destroyed with the gesso. You can easily clean it, and it also puts a nice thin coat. And see, you can still see the background a little bit. So compare this one, which is the brush method, with this one, which is the palette method. They're different. You get a nice thinner coat. The last method is to use, or at least for me that I know of, the last method is to use a baby wipe. So you take your baby wipe and you just scrunch it up. You dip it with the gesso a little bit, and then you go around your page with a circular motion. Now this puts a thinner coat of gesso on your page. This is a nice method for art journals if you want to put a thin coat on your art journal or your sketchbooks, because usually the papers on sketchbooks are not watercolor paper, and if you do wet medium, it will buckle. But if you do this method, you can put a nice thin coat of your gesso, and then it's a lot even. You know, it's very even, and you can still see the lettering or the color from the background coming through. So this is with a baby wipe. This is with a palette knife. See how it's different because you really can see the background here, You see less of the background here. And then if you really want to hide the background, you use a brush to apply your gessos. So I hope you liked this video and thank you for watching. Bye now.